Auzubillahiminash-shaytanir-rajim. Bismillahir-rahmanir-rahim. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's an honor for us that today we all have gathered to welcome Engineer Tariq Azam Sahab. And we all are here to listen his success story, where he has started from the scratch and he has reached to the pinnacle of the success. We congratulate on his lifetime achievement, and I would request Abdul Qayyum Ansari Sahab to kindly start today's program with recitation of Holy Quran, followed by the objective of this program. Janab Abdul Qayyum, Dr. Abdul Qayyum Ansari Sahab, now over to you, please.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ألهاكم التكاثر حتى زرتم المقابر كلا سوف تعلمون ثم كلا سوف تعلمون كلا لو تعلمون علم اليقين لترون الجحيم ثم لترونها عين اليقين ثم لتسألن يومئذ عن النعيم صدق الله العظيم. It is so just nice of you that we are starting a program today in which we are going to listen to very eminent persons. It is so just nice of you that we are starting a program today in Madam, the recording has started playing, you know.
Now I fixed it.
Okay, great. Great. Thank you so much. I don't see even now Professor Khwaja Muhammad Shahid Sahab there or not, but we take the advantage of the presence of Abdul Rashid Sahab, who was initially asked by Khwaja Sahab to preside over. So with this, Honorable Chair or the President, Janab Rashid Sahab, who is chairing the session at the moment, and the keynote speaker of the program, Janab Engineer Tariq Azam Sahab, the super dynamic, super active and able anchor of the program, Dr. Halima Saadia Sahiba, other speakers of the day, Dr. Muhammad Nasiruddin, Madam Ghazala Ghayur Sahiba, Dr. Muhammad Ilyas Saifi Sahab, and our additional secretary of All India Educational Movement, Janab Abdul Rashid Sahab. I consider it a great privilege to introduce the event as well as the keynote speaker on this occasion today evening. The very idea of holding this event was mooted by our able President, Janab Khwaja Muhammad Shahid Sahab, who motivated and advised me to take initiative of contacting the scholarly keynote speaker of the event, Janab Engineer Tariq Azam Sahab. We are indeed very thankful to him for having readily agreed to our request. I would first like to introduce the keynote speaker himself and then would come to the theme of the event. Janab Tariq Azam Sahab was born in Azamgarh and obtained his elementary education from a village madrasa and Islamia primary school. Then did his high school at a nearby higher secondary school and intermediate from the famous Shibli National College, Azamgarh in 1969. He entered in the same year the coveted IIT Madras in the Department of Civil Engineering and obtained his degree with first class honors in the year 1974. Ladies and gentlemen, IIT Madras at that time was one such institution to which every young mind of that time was always looking forward to enter into. So coming from a very, very humble background from a village, Janab could enter into an IIT and could get his BTech degree. And then from there onwards, he went to Bangkok, Asian Institute of Technology, to obtain his master's in geotechnology. He is currently a member of the Board of Engineers and fellow of the Institution of Engineers, Malaysia, and has also been recognized as an international professional engineer. Janab Tariq Azam Sahab has been involved in design and execution of major building and infrastructure projects in Malaysia, Indonesia, Middle East, and North Africa. The projects include high-rise buildings, highways, railways, and power stations. He was the lead engineer of the foundation design team for the Petronas Twin Towers of Kuala Lumpur, the tallest building in the world at that time. He was the project director for Sinai-Desaru Expressway, which is the longest mid-span cable-stayed bridge in Southeast Asia, and project director design for Malaysia-Singapore's second crossing and 2,100 megawatt power station project at Manjung, Perak, Malaysia. He superannuated in the year 2011 from the position of Chief Executive Officer of Ramhill Engineers and Constructors and Executive Vice President of Ramhill Berhad, which is a public listed company in Malaysia. He is currently the chairman of his family company, Tasnif Azam Holding, president of Anjuman-e-Urdu Malaysia, and chairman of Hilal Foundation Malaysia. In India, Engineer Tariq Sahab is founder president of Azam Welfare and Educational Society and Trust, founder chairman of Hera Public School, and founder chairman of Azam Career Academy, Fatguria, Azamgarh. He is also one of the directors of All India Educational Movement for Asia Pacific and founding member of the Syed Hamid Foundation, Delhi. He has great passion for promoting holistic, broad-based, quality basic education in the underprivileged communities, especially in his native place of Azamgarh. Ladies and gentlemen, the theme of the program today is about sharing of educational experiences. And who could be a person better than Janab Tariq Azam Sahab, who has had a first-hand experience of not only establishing institutions, but also running them effectively and successfully. Along with him would be Dr. Muhammad Nasiruddin from Kolkata, Madam Ghazala Ghayur from Aligarh, Dr. Halima Sadia from Delhi, Dr. Ilyas Saifi from Delhi, and Mr. Ibrahim Ansari and others. We would be enthusiastic to listen to their educational experiences, which they have gained over a period of time by running the institutions successfully. We would be interested to know as to how have they been able to create momentum and avenues for growth, a conducive environment that embraces the target community as well as the society at large. How have they made their campuses ready to engage and bring about significant changes, not only in the curricula, but also in the mindset? How have they been preparing their children for critical thinking and innovation? How they have set up meaningful goals, and how do they measure the progress towards achieving those goals? These are some of the points and features that we would be really interested to listen from the speakers. And there are many more glaring aspects that we might listen from the keynote speaker as well as from the other eminent persons of today evening. With this, I request Dr. Halima Sadia to invite Engineer Tariq Azam Sahab for his address.
Thank you very much, Professor Abdul Qayyum Ansari Sahab. It was really informative, and at the same time, the objective of this program is quite clear. Now, it's my honor and proud privilege to invite the keynote speaker of this evening, Janab Engineer Tariq Azam Sahab, whose introduction is already given by Professor Abdul Qayyum Ansari Sahab. मैं सिर्फ एक शेर कहना चाहूंगी, मत सहल हमें जानो, फिरता है फलक बरसों, तब खाक के अंदर से इंसान उभरते हैं। तो इस तरह के जो इंसान हमारे सामने आज मौजूद हैं, इंजीनियर तारिक आजम जैसे इंसान, वो हमेशा, हर वक्त, हर लम्हे, हर साल, हर घड़ी, हर महीने नहीं पैदा होते, क्योंकि इस तरह की शख्सियत ना सिर्फ पैदा होती है बल्कि बनती और बनाई जाती है, जिसमें उनकी अपनी मेहनत, लगन, हालात, माहौल, वालिदैन, घर सभी शामिल होते हैं। तो मैं बहुत ही अदब व एहतराम के साथ आई वुड लाइक टू रिक्वेस्ट जनाब तारिक आजम साहब टू काइंडली प्रेजेंट द कीनोट एड्रेस।
बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम, अल्हम्दुलिल्लाहि रब्बिल आलमीन, सलातु सलाम अला रसूलिल करीम व अला आलिहि अस्हाबिहि अजमाइन। Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Let me first of all express my gratitude to Professor Khaja Shahid Saab, Abdul Rashid Saab, and all his panel members for inviting me to share my life experience and indeed my passion of last almost 15-20 years in the field of basic education. I would also like to thank Mohtarama Halima Saadia and Professor Qayyum Sahab for introducing me. And let me start with few very key topics. My primary motivation of doing this work. A person can very rarely escape his formative years of his childhood, where he was educated, the influences he absorbed during those years, and the personalities who influenced him in various dimensions. So I am no exception to that. My parents were not very highly educated, but they were literate. My father was just a middle school pass out. My mother was a literate person, could read and write Urdu and Arabic, but that was about it. But my grandfather was very highly educated, so happened. And he was in Merchant Navy, and he was in municipal inspector in Bombay in early 20th century. I saw him only about 4 to 5 years of his last in early 60s. But his personality was very, very dominating and very influential. He was very immaculate, very disciplined, very well-mannered, which had a very lasting influence on him. The environment around my family was very cultured and very, what you call, literary events were quite common in those days in Azamgarh. And I was very fortunate that I got a teacher at this early age when I was in class 3 of primary, who was a very, what should I say, not just a gentleman, not just a teacher. He was real a pathfinder for whoever came under his wings. And his name was, I must mention his name. His name was Mr. Nizamuddin. And he taught me for just class 4 and 5. But those 2 years of his teaching, I believe, I'm fully convinced that what I am today is a major contribution of that teacher. What I'm trying to tell from this story is teachers have a very, very important role. They can make or break the future of a child. So the place of teachers in our institutions is so important. And unfortunately, today, the situation is that the best people are not going into the teaching profession. And that is one reason why education has suffered and is suffering. The situation in, I would like to elaborate a little bit, in Azamgarh is very, very acute in the sense that Azamgarh is a very backwater countryside where there's no big commerce or industry, it's only agriculture, and agricultural land after division of generations has become so small that it is no more profitable to really do agriculture there. So most of the people who get education or even labor class, they migrate to Middle East, to urban city centers of India and other places to earn a living. And I am one of the examples that I left Azamgarh because there's nothing much else to do there. I got an IIT education and I got a job in a foreign country and I left. And people who are teachers in Azamgarh today, they are the second and the third ranking people in from the education system, and which has caused the deterioration of education to an extent that it is unbelievable, really. The quality of education has suffered tremendously. Now, anyway, in my life, in those days, I was talking about that there was a great literary environment there. And mushairas, adibi, nashist, these were very common. And of course, they have very high influence on the personality of the. Allama Iqbal was a very, very, very popular. Even today, he's very popular, although hardly any people understand him properly, really. And I was very much influenced by his poetry in those days. And I would like to recite a few, just to show you, actually, what motivates a person to do things which I am trying to do. For example, Farishta maut ka chhuta hai go badan tera. Farishta maut ka chhuta hai go badan tera. Tere wajood ke markaz se dur rehta hai. I mean, this poetry is such a profound expression. The death even touches only your physical existence. It cannot touch your ruh. So here, the spiritual existence and the physical existence of man is very clearly defined and very clearly expressed. Naqsh hai sabna tamam, khune jigar ke baghair. Ishq hai saudaye kham, khune jigar ke baghair. I mean, the hard work of life. You don't get any results without really your khune jigar, your hard work. Similarly, zindagani hai sadaf qatre nisan hai khudi. Wo sadaf kya ke jo qatre ko gohar kar na sake. This concept of khudi, the concept of faqr, concept of ishq, concept of Shaheen, all these were actually inculcated in that early life. When I had no idea that of the existence of IIT, really. But in the time of high school, when I passed high school and I had a very high merit in the UP board in those days, within the top 100 students of UP. And somebody asked me, what do you want to do? When I was in class 11th, and I said, I love mathematics, I want to do engineering. So he said, where you want to go? I said, everybody goes to Aligarh, so I am going to go to Aligarh as well. So he said, I have a different idea if you want to accept. I said, please. And he said, IIT is the best place to do engineering. I said, what is IIT? And he explains to me, and I got the form and I sat for the competition, and alhamdulillah, I cleared in the first go, and I was given IIT Madras Civil Engineering Department. And then from there onwards, after my first degree, I got a scholarship for the Masters in the Asian Institute of Technology. And from there onwards, as they say, the rest is history. But this establishing an excellent educational system in Azamgarh, this seed was planted from very early on. And it was the question of whether I have enough money, whether I have enough resources, and at what stage should I start. Of course, I could have, because by that time I had already got my Malaysian citizenship, so I could have done this work in Malaysia as well. But after looking everything in three dimensions, as they say, engineers say, I decided that my native place, Azamgarh, was the best place, was the best bet for my success, because I knew the people, I knew the environment, I knew the need for it was much more in Azamgarh than anywhere else, and I had the land from my father. So I started in Azamgarh in 2006, actually. But I was still at the peak of my career at that time. So nothing much happened till 2010, really. And then I seriously started it in 2010. And 2011, I took an early retirement and devoted myself completely to this project. And today, we have reached class 10th. I started with nursery school. The concept of education and the objective of this school was very clear to me from the day one. That whatever education syllabus or curriculum I adopt, which needs to be, as it is necessitated, has to be either CBSE or ICSE or one of those international schools. But that is only for the worldly education, the material education. But the concept of holistic education, which I had conceptualized for quite some time. And let me elaborate a little bit on the concept of holistic education. Holistic education, of course, your definition of holistic education will depend on your worldview, your view of life itself, your belief system, your faith system. Because if one's worldview is purely a scientific materialism, then the education will mean the education of the intellect only. There are two parts of human existence, as I said earlier. One is its intellect, which is part of the body, which dies when you die, when you leave this world. The other part is the spiritual concept, the spiritual content, which is your ruh. An education system based on the belief of scientific materialism will only try to educate your intellect. And the education based on this thinking will turn out nothing but economic animals who want gratification of their actions, of their endeavors immediately within this world and as soon as possible. They will have no moral obligation it does not mean that all people are immoral who come out from the system. There are moral people even in that system, because human beings are very peculiar entities. They can be better off even whatever system they come out from. But those are very rare individuals. Just generally, the system will produce what it designs to produce. So I'm going to now express this in the context of Muslim education. But for a Muslim who believes in the unity of God, who believes in the life after death, who believes that this worldly life is actually very transient, the permanent life is after death, and your life after death will depend on what you do in this world. It is an account of your actions in this world. So based on this concept, your holistic education will be both. It will be a combination of scientific materialism as well as, which is the education of your intellect, as well as the education of your spirit, of your ruh. Now, of course, we can have all the religious education. We can teach children Quran, we can teach them how to pray, how to fast, and all the fiqh and the Shariat, basic concept of Shariat. But this is not a matter of learning the words. If this does not get inculcated in the behavior, then it is of no use really. Because we can see people coming out of madrasa who have been through their whole lives reading Quran, reading religious, doing religious scholarship, Arabic language, and all those things which are required for a religious education. But still, they are not, their behavior, the actual practice in life leaves a lot to be desired. So from the day one, I sat down with my teachers and designed a concept of early education. And let me emphasize that the early education, which is nursery to primary, is actually the foundation stone of our education system. What we do at this level, the 3 years of nursery education and for 5 years of primary education, will decide really how the children will come out, how the students will come out. My entire focus was initially on this 8 years of education, where we had basically language skills. Focus was on the language skill, English being the medium of instruction in the secondary and primary level. But along with English, we had Urdu, very high. We have very high level of Urdu as well, and Hindi, which is our national language in India. All the 3 languages. But as I said, the first focus was English, second was Urdu, and third was Hindi. And the second was religious education, basic religious education, which is education of Quran, ibadat, akhlaqiyat. And third was a very high level of mathematical and reasoning skills. So these 3 areas of education were focused upon in the first 8 years of education at the moment in my basic curriculum at the school. Now, from class 6 onward, we follow ICSE curriculum. And we also start foundation course for NEET and IIT from class 6 itself. We have selective hostel accommodation facilities for those students who either from far away, who parents want to be in the hostel starting from class 6. And tarbiyah of a student, the discipline, personal counseling is a very core idea in our school, which in fact, we have full-time counselors, and we go as far as visiting the family and the parents if they don't come to the school, and try to understand the background of the child and his problems. Now, at the after the 6th, 7th, and 8th, when we go in the 9th and 10th, then we have select certain students and who are marked for their intellectual level and very intensive preparation for competitive exams, especially NEET and IIT, we have started. So we have created a concept called a career development center in combination with an academic ICU, which is intensive care unit in academic terms. And inshallah, this whole thing has been disturbed because of the pandemic lockdown. We don't know when this is our first batch of high school. We should be sitting for exams, whenever it happens, May, June, or July, or whatever. So this whole thing has been sort of put off for a while. But inshallah, we have got the infrastructure, which I will show you some of the glimpses of it. I will show you in photographs. And we have got teachers. Now, besides the infrastructure, which is very important, that our school infrastructure be in par with the best. That is a matter of resources, really. But the most important thing is human resources, the teachers. We spend quite a lot of time and resources on teacher training. We send them to the big cities like Hyderabad, Bangalore, Lucknow, even Delhi for teacher training. And we bring trainers from outside to train our teachers, especially language skills, which are very important for delivery of the subject matters. We have hired, in fact, for NEET and IIT preparations, JEE preparations, we have hired teachers who have been quite intensive experience with in Kota and national level coaching centers like Akash and others. And especially in subjects of physics, chemistry, mathematics, biology. And these people are full-time with us and look after our students who are living in the hostels and are preparing for NEET and IITs. Now, again, I cannot emphasize enough on the motivation and training of teachers. This is the core subject or the core competency of any institution is its teachers. And I take personal interest in the training of the teachers, especially because of my background and my passion for mathematics and physics and scientific subjects, and also my passion for religious education and tarbiyah. Extracurricular activities, participation in debates, but exposing the students to express themselves. These are very, very important. Of course, every school tries to do it, one way or the other. But what I'm trying to say is that if students are not exposed to these activities, they cannot really hone their skills. And they cannot be prepared to face the world. I have coined a sort of a slogan for my educational concept, which goes something like this, is that modern education in an Islamic environment and Islamic education in modern environment. This is in a nutshell what the education system, according to my personal view, should be for a Muslim community. Now, with all this concepts and hard work, alhamdulillah, we have got about 1,000+ students now. And at the nursery level, which we call it M1, M2, and M3, which is a Montessori 1, Montessori 2, and Montessori 3, which is normally called nursery, LKG, and UKG. You got each class about 100 students. We don't have enough space, actually. And originally, we had almost 100% Muslim students only. But now there is a very good demand from non-Muslim community as well to come and take admission. Even though our environment is quite culturally and religiously Muslim dominated, but they don't mind as long as they know the quality of education is really very high. And we have made Urdu as a compulsory subject if they want to study at the primary level in our school. Urdu is a compulsory subject. And in spite of that, they're coming. And I mean, I had interaction with a number of non-Muslim parents and guardians, and why they want. They said the main actually attraction for them is the discipline, the safety, the cleanliness, the environment in the school, which is very respectful for students as well as for the parents and their guardians. And second is, of course, the quality of the education. So my idea of telling you this is that if we create centers of excellence, inshallah, the whole community will benefit. Others will also see. I mean, you can see the history of missionary schools in this country, in India. They were sought after by all communities, not just Christians. Christians were very minuscule, in fact. So it is the excellence which you create in the education system. Now, we also teach for Muslim students from class 6 onwards, Seerah of the Prophet and some Islamic history, to give them a concept, a context for their own existence. And the community's past. So especially Indian Muslim history, the medieval history, is quite necessary, in my opinion. As I said again, teachers are basically the role models for the students. If teachers are knowledgeable, they're disciplined, and they are well-behaved, and they were caring, then students will come out very well. And this, we actually have very little compromise on this. So this was the other aspect. Now, the other part is the financial model of the school. Of course, the infrastructure was built by my own resources and my family's resources. But continuation of an institution you establish is very important. How does it financially continue and sustain itself? So we have, and also at the same time, it is not just for the rich members of the society who can pay the fees. It also must cater for those people who are underprivileged, who cannot pay any fees at all. So how do we reconcile these two contradictory requirements of society? So what we decided from the very beginning, that 75% of the students must pay the fees. And the fees is, compared to urban areas, is really not that high. For example, we charge an admission fee of 5,000 only for nursery classes, and a monthly fees of about 700, 750 rupees. At high school level, it goes to about 1,500 rupees. Admission fees is more or less same. So 75% students will pay the full fees. 25% students will either pay no fees or will pay part of the fees. And these students, we try to get sponsors through our personal contacts internationally. At the moment, we have about 200 students fully sponsored internationally. People from sitting in America, they sponsor 5 students, 10 students, 1 student, and whatever they willingly they can do. Sponsor, they are requested to, and they are doing it. Alhamdulillah, for last 10 years, it has reached now about 200 students. Second important part which I must emphasize is the sustenance of institution beyond the founders, which is a very important topic. Actually, most institutions leave it to the end. Means I know I started this institution. I have certain worldview. I have certain ideas, and I have the resources to do it, alhamdulillah. But what happens after me? Whether this institution will be sustained or it will, same thing will happen as happens to many institutions. So I have taken very special care of this. I've been very concerned about it from a very long time. And alhamdulillah, I have not only motivated, not only trained the second generation of leaders who will inshallah carry on these institutions, who have the same motivation as I have, same ideas and views of life on which I founded the institution. Okay, my future plan for this institution is that I really want to create an educational hub in this small village for the entire Eastern UP, where not only a excellent higher secondary school, one for boys and one for girls. Later on, I want to actually separate at the moment, unfortunately, because of the want of resources and physical infrastructure, lack of physical infrastructure, we don't have separate school for the boys and the girls. One thing we could do was, after class 6, we create separate sections for boys and girls, and we keep them at separate floors. So to that extent only we have been able to practice. But our future vision is to have separate blocks for boys and girls. after class 6 itself. But facilities like science lab and libraries and all these things will be probably common. We will have hostel facilities separately for the boys and girls. And we will have an ITI, Industrial Training Institute, for those boys and girls who cannot go for tertiary education. And besides ITI, we will have professional courses like paramedical, computer science and computer hardware, and many others which can open economic opportunities for students for taking these courses. And those selected ones who really can go for tertiary education, the best universities in the country and even abroad. We are even aiming for sending our students overseas. The number of institutes in Malaysia, Middle East, Turkey, even in Europe and America, where our students can go, provided we mentally prepare them, mentally and academically prepare them for those places. And there are a lot of scholarships and opportunities are available. So we should not confine ourselves to India only. So this is my vision, and Alhamdulillah, I'm working on this. The family has allocated 7 acres of piece of land in one spot. We are doing the planning for a complex integrated educational hub. I probably have covered most of it. If anything else, maybe during the question and answer session, I can further elaborate. I just want to end it with the one again, Allama Iqbal's poetry. मेरे नवाए परेशान को शायरी न समझ, मेरे नवाए परेशान को शायरी न समझ, कि मैं हूँ महरमे राज़े दरूने मैं खाना. And just one very important quote to all those people who are running institutions, running schools, are involved in the school running in one way or the other. And degree is just a piece of paper. The real education is to be seen in the behavior. And please raise warriors, not parasites. Thank you very much. Wa akhiru da'wana walillahi Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. It was really very well spoken. And I request all of you to kindly give a big round of applause to Tariq Azam Sahab.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I also have a great attachment with Azamgarh. I spent 5 years of my childhood in Azamgarh.
Then I must invite to my school. Inshallah, at the first opportunity.
Yes, I was in Hilai Firozpur.
Okay.
Yeah. So the people are amazing over there. Hospitality, I still remember because we were in the hostel and the whole village has adopted us like daughters, me and my elder sister. And it was really very nice stay over there. Thank you very much for sharing your story.
Right.
Okay. Now this is the time for intervention, and we have eminent educationist with us. We have Principal Muhammad Nasiruddin Sahab. We have Principal Ghazala Sahaba. We have Dr. Muhammad Ilyas Safi Sahab. I request them to kindly unmute themselves and switch on their video.
Halima, just before I entertain the question, I just want to show you some photographs so that they understand the concept.
Yeah, sure, sir, sure.
Yeah, just quickly run the photograph.
Okay. Just one to share screen. So just one. Okay.
Let me speak.
Okay. As you can see the
Can you see the picture?
Yes, purple color, very unique color.
Yeah. This is the nursery block.
Very bright color.
Yeah, this is the nursery block, M1, M2, and M3. There are about 300 students here. Next.
Okay. Quickly, sir. Quickly.
Yeah. Very, very good. Yes.
oh, sorry.
Okay. Yeah.
Good. Okay. This is which block?
Sorry.
This is again nursery only. Nursery only. This is the corridor of the school, nursery school.
Yeah, we saw this one. Yes. Then I'm asking about this one.
Yeah.
This one?
Yeah. Go ahead. Just move. This is the same. Go ahead. This one. Move this way. Right. Cool. Okay. This is all nursery only.
Yes, I have seen them physically during your annual day.
Yeah, this is. This is the primary and secondary school.
Good.
This is auditorium in the school. This is a computer and language lab. Allama Iqbal Day is being celebrated. Science lab. Okay, thank you. You can go back to, I just wanted to show some glimpses.
Thank you very much for sharing, sir. So now I request Janab Dr. Ilyas Sahab. I request Mohtarma Madam Ghayur Sahiba.
Dr. Mohammad Nasiruddin.
And Dr. Mohammad Nasiruddin Sahab is not seen among the participant.
No, he was here.
He was there.
He is with other name, I think. He is with Redmi.
Maybe he is disconnected. So we can start from anybody, you know. Ilyas Sahab is there in France, so he can start, or
Actually,
even Halima can do that.
Actually, I wanted all four of them to be there on the screen.
Okay.
Okay. Madam Ghayur Sahiba is there?
Madam Ghazala Ghayur is there. Yes, she is there. But
Okay.
then she may not be listening. So, ma'am, please do not wait for all of them to be together. Let us start from whosoever is present.
Yes,
So,
Ilyas Safi is there.
Okay.
Yes,
Walaikum assalam.
we can start with
Madam Sahiba, will you switch on your video, please?
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
Walaikum salam.
One of the slogan of JFT is pay back to society, and we are trying to follow it. इसके अलावा जब हम वहाँ फतगुदिया में गए और आजम साहब के कैंपस को देखा तो वहाँ भी जाकर एहसास हुआ कि वो भी सोसाइटी को पे बैक कर रहे हैं। असल में कभी कभी जो हम इदारे बनाते हैं वो इसलिए बनाते हैं कि हमारा बड़ा नाम हो, और कभी कभी हम इदारे इसलिए बनाते हैं कि हमारी सोसाइटी को हमसे कुछ फ़ायदा हो। अगर हम ये सोचकर इदारे बनाते हैं कि सोसाइटी को कुछ फ़ायदा हो तो वाकई ये एक मिशन है, वरना पैसा तो सभी कमा रहे हैं। हमने भी छोटी सी कोशिश यही की थी जब भी इस इदारे को अपने JFT को कायम किया था कि सोसाइटी को कुछ वापस लौटाना है, और उसी पर गामजन है। नॉर्थ गोंडा है दिल्ली में, नॉर्थ दिल्ली में, नॉर्थ ईस्ट दिल्ली का इलाका पड़ता है। वहाँ पर जदीद फाउंडेशन ट्रस्ट के ज़ेर एहतमाम इदारा चला रहे हैं, मजीदिया मॉडल स्कूल के नाम से, और हमारे पास तकरीबन 1100 बच्चे हैं, लेकिन पेंडेमिक के दौर में इनकी तादाद घट के 700 के करीब रह गई। फिर भी अल्लाह का शुक्र ये था कि हमारे आसपास जितने भी इदारा थे उसमें सबसे ज़्यादा तादाद हमारे पास थी। एहसास उस रोज़ हुआ कि भाई 400 भी क्यों गए, लेकिन अल्लाह का शुक्र ये था कि चलो हमारे पास फिर भी इतनी बड़ी तादाद है। तो हम सोचें कि 400 क्यों गए, वहाँ क्या कमी रही, और इतनी बड़ी तादाद औरों के मुकाबले है तो क्या कुछ तो अच्छा रहा होगा। इसकी बुनियादी वजह यही थी कि हमने हमेशा बच्चों को चाहा कि एक अच्छी तालीम मिले, उनका स्कूल के तई जो हक है वो उनको मिले, वो देने की हमने कोशिश की है। बहुत बड़ा इदारा नहीं है हमारा, छोटा सा इदारा है, बिल्डिंग बहुत तंग है, लेकिन वो इलाका भी बहुत कंजेस्टेड इलाका है। मेरे ख्याल से कई साथियों ने हमारे देखा है हमारे इदारे को, अब्दुल रशीद अंकल ने तो कई मरतबा विजिट किया है, असलम साहब ने और दूसरे साथियों ने। तो तंग गलियां हैं, कंजेस्टेड सड़कें हैं, कंजेस्टेड कॉलोनी है, उसमें इतनी जगह का मुहैया होना भी बड़ा मुश्किल काम है। कई मरतबा लोगों ने कहा भी कि भाई इदारे को शिफ्ट करो, कहीं दूसरी जगह पे, कुछ आधा जगह पे इसको बनाओ, लेकिन हमारा जवाब हमेशा यही रहता था कि जब काम ही यही करना है हमें, तो इसको शिफ्ट करके हमारा मकसद पूरा नहीं होगा। रिसोर्सेज कम है लेकिन कोशिश कर रहे हैं, अल्लाह का शुक्र है। हमारे यहाँ जो फीस का स्ट्रक्चर है, आज भी 5वीं क्लास में हम 700 रुपया फीस लेते हैं। मैं समझता हूँ दिल्ली के किसी भी रिकॉग्नाइज स्कूल में शायद आज के ज़माने में 1500 रुपये से कम नहीं है। जो बिल्कुल बहुत तंग गली में सबसे छोटा इदारा भी आपको मिलेगा वो 1500 रुपये चार्ज कर रहे हैं, लेकिन हम 700 रुपये चार्ज करते हैं। उसमें भी मज़ीद ये है कि जैसा तारिक साहब ने बताया था, हमने भी 25% कोटा उन लोगों के लिए रखा है जिनकी फीस या तो ट्रस्ट खुद देता है या कोई ना कोई ट्रस्ट का साथी इंडिविजुअल तौर पर उसको स्पॉन्सर कर देता है। बहुत लंबा सफ़र हो गया, तकरीबन 25 साल हो गए जब इसकी दावबेल डाली थी मरहूम रियाज साहब ने। अभी हमारे बीच में नहीं है रियाज साहब, रहमतुल्लाह अलैह, उनको गरीक रहमत करे। कोरोना के दौर में वो हमें अलविदा कह करके चले गए। तो उस वक्त उन्होंने भी सिर्फ अपने आप ही तनहा इसको शुरू की थी। एक स्कूल में टीचर थे, उनके साथ कुछ साथी जुड़े, मोइन अख्तर साहब थे, प्रोफेसर असलम अली मशरफ थे, डॉक्टर असलम जमशेदपुरी थे। जब ये जॉब में नहीं थे, इनका सबका लड़कपन था, और अल्लाह का शुक्र है कि उनकी इस कोशिश का नतीजा निकला, इदारा आज किसी हद तक पहुंचा। हमारे इस इदारे का एक ख़ास मकसद ये भी है कि जो हमारे अंदर से दीनी तालीम निकलती चली जा रही है, किसी तरह से ये ना छूटे। दूसरी चीज़, हमने एजुकेशन को सिर्फ एजुकेशन तक नहीं माना। जैसा अभी तारिक साहब ने भी जिक्र किया था कि एजुकेशन मानी डिग्री को खरीदा भी जा सकता है, खाली डिग्री पेपर का टुकड़ा भी हो सकती है वो एजुकेशन, और जबकि पेपर का टुकड़ा नहीं होना चाहिए। हमने इसको 3 चीज़ों में जोड़ा, नॉलेज, एप्टीट्यूड एंड प्रैक्टिस। अगर ये तीनों चीज़ें उस एजुकेशन में साथ मिल जाती हैं तो हम समझते हैं कि ये वाकई एजुकेशन है। और अगर इन तीनों चीज़ों में से कहीं भी किसी एक चीज़ की लैक है, इसमें लैक ऑफ नॉलेज है, लैक ऑफ एप्टीट्यूड है, लैक ऑफ प्रैक्टिस है, तो मैं समझता हूँ एजुकेशन का पर्पस हमारा पूरा नहीं हो पाता है। और अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह उस पर हम पूरी तरह से कोशिश कर रहे हैं। बच्चों को ख़ास तौर से ये तरबियत दी जाती है कि जितना आप हासिल करें उसके हिसाब से आपका रवैया हो, उसके हिसाब से आपका बिहेवियर हो, और जितनी नॉलेज आपके पास है, जो आपका बिहेवियर है, वो आपकी प्रैक्टिकल लाइफ में भी होना चाहिए, दिखना चाहिए। जब आप स्कूल से निकल कर जाएं, जब घर में जाएं, तो आपको ऐसा एहसास होना चाहिए कि हाँ हम किसी स्कूल से आए हैं। और इसका एहसास देखने को ये भी मिलता है क्योंकि हमारे यहाँ के जो बच्चे हैं ज़्यादातर इस फीस स्ट्रक्चर में प्राइवेट स्कूल में तो पढ़ा ही नहीं सकते। 700-750 रुपये में उनको एक प्राइवेट स्कूल मिल जाता है। यहाँ से निकलने के बाद 5वीं क्लास करने के बाद हमारे यहाँ से सारे बच्चे गवर्नमेंट स्कूल में जाते हैं। गवर्नमेंट स्कूलों में अल्लाह का शुक्र है हमारे बच्चों की डिमांड रहती है। वो लोग इंतज़ार करते हैं कि मजीदिया स्कूल के बच्चे हमारे यहाँ आएंगे इस साल, तो वो कुछ दूसरे स्कूलों के मुकाबले पे बेहतर होंगे। तो अल्लाह से दुआ ये करते हैं कि अल्लाह ताला जो उनकी उम्मीदें हैं, जो उनकी तवक्कात है, उनको बनाकर रखे, इसी पर रेगुलर चलें। लेकिन हमने एक चीज़ और इसमें जोड़ी है, हम जो बच्चों को मदद करते हैं कभी भी, जैसे कि जिक्र आया था कि 25% हम बिल्कुल फ्री करते हैं, लेकिन हमारा फ्री का अंदाज भी दूसरा होता है। उसके लिए हम कुछ एग्ज़ाम कराते हैं। स्कॉलरशिप टेस्ट होते हैं हमारे यहाँ। हम बिना स्कॉलरशिप टेस्ट के किसी बच्चे को किसी भी किस्म की एक मदद नहीं देते, हत्ता कि हम किसी को एक नोटबुक और एक पेंसिल भी किसी को बिना किसी टेस्ट के नहीं देते, जिसके लिए हम रेगुलर एक्टिविटीज कराते हैं, कुछ गेम्स कराते हैं, कुछ नॉलेज बेस्ड प्रोग्राम कराते हैं। अब्दुल रशीद अंकल को एक मरतबा मैं लेकर गया था, एक हमने एक बहुत अच्छा मॉडल तैयार किया हुआ है, कौन भरेगा हज़ारपति, शायद आपको याद होगा अंकल। तो वो मॉडल एक हमारा बहुत अच्छा मॉडल है, उसमें हम बच्चों से सवालात करते हैं, 1 रुपये से सवाल शुरू होते हैं और 10,000 तक वो हमारा प्राइस पहुंचता है। तो उस तरह से भी हम बच्चों को मदद करने की कोशिश करते हैं। इसके अलावा जो स्कॉलरशिप टेस्ट होते हैं, क्योंकि देखिए अगर बच्चा पढ़ नहीं रहा है तो गवर्नमेंट स्कूल है, हमारा मानना यह है कि हर किसी को बांटना नहीं है। हम भी बहुत पैसे वाले लोग नहीं होते हैं जिस इलाके में रह रहे हैं। तारिक साहब ने भी जिस तरह से अपनी मेहनत करके अपना असासा खड़ा किया है, इसी तरह से हमने भी अपना छोटा मोटा असासा खड़ा किया है। तो इस असासे के जरिए जो हमारे पास है, जो भी पैसा है, जो भी पूंजी है, इसको हम ऐसे ही तबाह बर्बाद नहीं कर सकते, ऐसे ही नहीं हम बांटना चाहते। उसके लिए रेगुलर कुछ ना कुछ ऐसी एक्टिविटी में हम इन्वॉल्व करके बच्चों को रखते हैं। तो उसके लिए रोज़ाना नई नई प्लानिंग की जाती है कि किस तरह से कोई नई एक्टिविटी लाई जाए ताकि बच्चों को ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा हम मराद दे सकें। बस एक ये छोटा सा हमारा तर्ज अमल है। टीचर्स के ताल्लुक से भी हम कभी भी किसी भी टीचर को इसलिए प्रमोट नहीं करते कि साहब इनको बहुत ज़्यादा दिन हो गए। जो एनुअल उनका इंक्रीमेंट है वो तो हम देते ही हैं, उसके लिए भी हमने टीचर्स के लिए भी पैमाने बनाए हुए हैं। कभी वक्त मिलेगा इंशाल्लाह हम उसको शेयर करेंगे आपके साथ, और मैं करता भी हूँ शेयर। हम अपनी सारी चीज़ों को शेयर करने की कोशिश करते हैं। हमने पैमाने बनाए हुए हैं, उनके हिजाब का अलग पैमाना है, उनके नीटनेस का अलग पैमाना है, उनका पंक्चुअलिटी का अलग पैमाना है क्लास में। हालांकि आज अब तो इस पर बदलाव लाना पड़ा हमें, टीचर लाती हैं तो उनका अलग पैमाना है, नहीं लाती तो अलग पैमाना है।
जी इलियास साहब, इख्तिसार की दरख्वास्त है।
जी जी जी। तो बहरहाल ये आखिरी मेरा चल रहा था टीचर्स वाला, तो हमने ये पैमाने सब सेट किए हैं और इसी की बुनियाद पर हम अपने टीचर्स को भी इंक्रीमेंट देते हैं ताकि हम टीचर्स को एक रोल मॉडल बना सकें स्टूडेंट्स के लिए। और अल्लाह का शुक्र है उसमें काफ़ी हद तक हम कामयाब भी हो रहे हैं। बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया। अब मैं समझता हूँ काफ़ी कुछ मैं कह चुका हूँ। जज़ाकल्लाह खैर।
मोहतरमा गजाला साहिबा, may I request you to kindly unmute yourself and then express your views, your school experience. Mohtarma Ghazala Ghayur Sahiba, please. जी खुद को अनम्यूट कर लें। May I request जनाब मोहम्मद नासिरुद्दीन साहब।
Ma'am, now request yourself.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll take just 2 minutes time because I know that we are already late and it's Maghrib time now. So, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. As most of you are aware of me, I am Halima Sadia and I have 28 years of experience in the field of education. I started my career with Hamdard Public School as a TGT, and then after that I was promoted as headmistress of the new branch of Hamdard. There I was working as the head of the school in Okhla. And that was a time when I have closely observed my community and their educational status. And then I joined Caravans that was organized by All India Educational Movement. And it was like under the leadership of Sayyid Hamid Sahab, who was the secretary of Hamdard Public School as well. Then I found that the community, especially Muslim community, is not only backward in education, but in quality education. That was my observation, personal observation, that more than the education, we need the quality education. And that was the reason why I always focused on learning first and then teaching on the second number. First, the people who are the mentors or the teachers or the professors or the coach or the guide, whosoever, first they have to continue learning, then only they can transfer the knowledge to the students. So that was the reason why I shifted myself to, relocated myself to UAE, Dubai. And there I have gained the experience of international schools experience. And I stayed there for 7 years, and I have seen all the ins and outs and the ministry's regulations and rule, and that is very fantastically done in UAE. I must accept it. Each and every step is guided by the Ministry of Education, and each and every step is so nicely guided that no one can start any school without the norms, without the rules. Like here in India, we can start a school in a flat. That is not at all possible over there. So that experience was quite rich with me. Then I came back to Delhi, just thinking that whatever I have my savings, I'll start my own school here to give the quality education to the underprivileged people, or maybe the low budget schools I can start. But what happened when I came here, I joined Delhi Waqf Board, and it was said that they are going to start 250 schools. And I was very, very happy and excited that at least I will be able to start 250 schools and reach to the underprivileged people. But unfortunately, that project did not work out. And I was full 1 year struggling. I was engaging myself into teachers training programs, into staff training programs and other programs, but I was like feeling suffocated that how I have to reach to the students, how I have to reach to the teachers. Then finally, Alhamdulillah, I have joined our India International School, and that's in Kandla near Baghpat. And that school is run by Kerala management, and they have their own vision and mission that is matching with my vision and mission. Because my vision and mission is that quality education should be given to the children, whether they are in the low budget school or in the high budget school. Budget should not hinder the quality of the education. ऐसा मैंने बहुत देखा है अपने इदारों में, माफ कीजिएगा, कुछ लोगों को बुरा भी लगेगा जो लोग इदारे चला रहे हैं यहाँ पे, कि वो हम इदारा चलाते हैं अपने बच्चों के लिए, हम क्वालिटी पे कॉम्प्रोमाइज करते हैं. हमारे पास बच्चों के ओवरऑल नशोनुमा के लिए, ओवरऑल डेवलपमेंट के लिए रिसोर्सेज नहीं होते हैं. हम अगर रिसोर्सेज फंड मांगते भी हैं कहीं से, तो हम बिल्डिंग खड़ी कर लेते हैं बड़ी से बड़ी, और उस बड़ी बिल्डिंग में अंदर क्या हो रहा है, टीचर्स किस क्वालिटी की हैं, वो कौन सी एजुकेशन दे रही हैं, इसकी तरफ थोड़ी तवज्जो कम होती है. सो माय एम्फेसाइज नाउ इज एम्फेसिस ऑन ओवरऑल डेवलपमेंट ऑफ द चिल्ड्रन, एंड स्पेशली द इमोशनल डेवलपमेंट ऑफ द चिल्ड्रन. क्योंकि अगर इमोशनली बच्चा साउंड नहीं होता है तो वो जिंदगी में आगे बढ़ ही नहीं सकता है. वो फिर वहीं का वहीं कुएं का मेढक ही रहता है. उसके जहन को चेंज करना बहुत जरूरी होता है कि वो कुछ बड़ा करने का सोचे और कुछ बड़ा करने के लिए कदम उठाए. एंड सेकेंडली, आई फोकस along with the language development, mother tongue language development, I focus on English language development. क्योंकि कई बार हमने यही देखा है कि हमारे बच्चों का जब इंटरव्यू होता है, खासतौर से जब मैं यूएई में इंटरव्यूज लिया करती थी, तो हमारे बच्चियों के अंदर सलाहियत होती थी, उनके अंदर लियाकत होती थी, उनके पास डिग्री होती थी, but they were not able to at all communicate in English language, and that is the requirement of all the countries globally, because that is the linking language, that is international language. तो इस एरिया में भी जो लोग हमारे साथ यहाँ मौजूद हैं, तारिक आजम साहब हैं, अब्दुल क़य्यूम साहब हैं, और हमारे जितने सीनियर्स हैं, अब्दुल रशीद साहब हैं, आप सब इसकी अहमियत से वाकिफ होंगे कि अगर हमें अपने बच्चों को ग्लोबली सोचना सिखाना है, अगर हमें ये सिखाना है कि द वर्ल्ड इज अ विलेज एंड वी हैव टू कनेक्ट देम इंटरनेशनली, देन एक तो डिजिटली उनको स्ट्रॉन्ग करना होगा और दूसरे उनको इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज में स्ट्रॉन्ग करना होगा. इन दोनों के बगैर वो ग्लोबली कनेक्ट नहीं हो सकते हैं. तो अभी जो मेरी कोशिशें हैं वो ये कि मैं उस स्कूल को सर्व कर रही हूँ एज ए डायरेक्टर कम प्रिंसिपल, अवर इंडिया इंटरनेशनल स्कूल को, और उसके साथ ही मैं जहानेमन, मेरा प्लेटफॉर्म है एक यूट्यूब चैनल, जिसके जरिए मैं एजुकेशनल प्रोग्राम्स करती हूँ. बच्चों के कॉम्पिटिशन्स होते हैं, इस्लामिक एंड जनरल कॉम्पिटिशन्स बोथ, और इसमें मैं विमेन एम्पावरमेंट के प्रोग्राम्स करती हूँ, और इसके जरिए मैं बुक्स को भी प्रमोट करती हूँ. मेरा एक शो खासतौर से इसके लिए होता है, मीट द ऑथर, जिसमें हम नए राइटर्स को प्रमोट करते हैं, और अ डेट विद अ बुक में हम किताब के शायकीन के लिए प्रोग्राम करते हैं, और हम पेरेंटिंग पे भी प्रोग्राम्स करते हैं, और सैटरडे को बच्चों के लिए क्विज कंडक्ट कराते हैं, जो ऑनलाइन क्विज होता है, जो इंटरनेशनली होता है, जिसमें डिफरेंट कंट्रीज के बच्चे इंडिया के बच्चों के साथ साथ कॉम्पीट करते हैं ऑन डिफरेंट टॉपिक्स. तो ये मेरी थोड़ी सी जो है कोशिशें हैं. इसके अलावा हम कॉन्फ्रेंसेस, सेमिनार्स करते हैं, और सब इंटरनेशनल होते हैं. मेरा मकसद ये होता है कि हम कनाडा, इंडिया, यूके, सिंगापुर, मलेशिया, सब तरह के जो जगह के जो रिसोर्स पर्सन्स हैं और जो टीचर्स और स्टूडेंट्स हैं, सबको एक प्लेटफॉर्म पे लाएं, ताकि हमारे बच्चों को थोड़ा एक्सपोजर मिले, हमारे बच्चों को मालूम हो कि और दूसरे कंट्रीज में क्या क्या चीजें हो रही हैं, वहाँ एजुकेशन में क्या क्या नुमाया तब्दीलियां आई हैं. तो यही मेरा मकसद होता है, सिर्फ उनको एक्सपोजर देना होता है. इसके लिए मैं ये मेहनत कर रही हूँ, और खुदा से दुआ है कि खुदा मजीद हमें तौफीक अता करे. और मैं आप सबके कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशंस की, आप सबके सपोर्ट की, आप सबके अप्रिसिएशन की बहुत बहुत ममनून हूँ. इन्हीं अल्फाज के साथ मैं आप सबसे इजाजत चाहती हूँ. बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया.
इंग्लिश के बारे में सबसे अच्छा तजुर्बा मेरा है कि मैं बहुत अच्छी इंग्लिश लिख लेता हूँ, बहुत अच्छी पढ़ भी लेता हूँ, पर बोल नहीं पाता हूँ.
मैं भी आज से जो है ना, वो 25 साल पहले मेरा यही हाल था. When I joined Hamdard Public School, I was not able to speak a single word. और जो हमारे प्रिंसिपल थे वो एंग्लो इंडियन थे, यानी उनको हिंदी आती ही नहीं थी. तो मेरे टाइम टेबल में एक कमी थी और मुझे जाना था उनसे कहने के लिए कि सर दिस इज रॉन्ग. मैं इतना सेंटेंस नहीं बोल पा रही थी. फिर मैंने अपनी एक टीचर को साथ में लिया, मैंने खुशामद की, चल मेरे साथ चल अंदर. फिर वो मेरे साथ अंदर गई. फिर उसने सर से कहा कि सर इसके टाइम टेबल में गलती है, सही कर दीजिए. But that day I realized that this is, if I have to succeed in life, then I have to learn it, I have to practice it. अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह अब कटर मटर ऐसा है कि काम चल जाता है.
इसके लिए मैं हमेशा बच्चों को, मैं जैसे बच्चों से बात करता रहता हूँ, बच्चों को हमेशा एक चीज सिखाता हूँ, टीचर्स को और खासतौर से उनके वालिदैन को सिखाता हूँ कि सिर्फ कुछ नहीं करना है, आप किताब लेकर बच्चे को खड़ा कर दीजिए. अगर आप बिल्कुल भी पढ़ना लिखना नहीं जानते, जो वालिदैन ये कहते हैं ना खासतौर से कि हम तो पढ़ना लिखना जानते ही नहीं, हम क्या करें, तो मैं उनसे कहता हूँ कि सिर्फ आप किताब लेकर खड़ा कर दीजिए अपने बच्चे को और उससे बोलिए कि इंग्लिश को पढ़ें, इसको पैरा. आप कम से कम इतना तो समझ जाएंगे कि बच्चा यहाँ पर अटका
जी, तो
इतना तो कर ही सकते हैं. तो और अल्लाह का शुक्र है, अपने ऊपर तो नहीं, मेरे अपने ऊपर तो नहीं, लेकिन ये मेरा तजुर्बा बहुत कामयाब हो रहा है अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह.
गजाला साहिबा, क्या मैं आपसे गुजारिश करूं? अच्छा, और मोहम्मद नासिरुद्दीन साहब, अगर आप मौजूद हैं तो क्या मैं आपसे दरख्वास्त करूं?
स्क्रीन पर तो दोनों नजर आ रहे हैं नाम के एतबार से तो, लेकिन पता नहीं बात हमारी पहुंच नहीं पा रही क्या.
नहीं, और दोनों को हमने को होस्ट भी बना रखा है दोनों को. सो
जी हाँ, जी हाँ.
कोई बात नहीं, वो कलकत्ते में सूरज डूब चुका है.
I just would like to add a few words on this English communications. We realize this as Halima has said, is very, very important. So at the nursery level, which is M1, M2, and M3, we have put special emphasis on this. And there's no teacher in the nursery level who is not good in English communication. We don't put teachers at all who cannot speak English. So the result is that by the time they clear nursery and they go into class 1 of the primary, the students are very well equipped. They can speak, they can understand, and they can read English. And the emphasis is more on listening and speaking, not so much reading and writing, really. Reading and writing can be developed in the primary level. But at the nursery level, they should be given full exposure to speaking English. And this is very, very important. The second point I would like to bring up is that we must take full advantage of technology, really. Technology, I mean, ICT especially, internet and communication technology should be used as much as possible. It cannot be the primary medium. It can be only used to enhance and complement the basic teaching, classroom teaching. But it is very important that the students are given exposure ICT in the school environment from the very beginning. They should be have no fear of using computers and things like that. Thank you.
Very rightly said. True, sir. So now the question and answer session is there.
डॉक्टर हलीमी सादिया, उनको प्रिंसिपल गजाला को आप को होस्ट बनाइए ना, वो बोल नहीं पा रही हैं.
नहीं, वो को होस्ट हैं ऑलरेडी सर.
अभी मुझे मैसेज मिला है कि वो नहीं, वो को होस्ट नहीं है शायद. एक बार चेक कर लीजिए.
गजाला गयूर
जी,
किस नाम से हैं? अब तो वो है नहीं यहाँ पे गजाला के नाम से.
गजाला गयूर हैं
सर. जी से कोई भी एक गैलेक्सी पार्टिसिपेंट है बस, जी से और कोई भी नहीं है.
अच्छा, वो तो शुरू में तो ज्वाइन किया था उन्होंने.
हाँ, शुरू में मैंने उनको को होस्ट बना दिया था, शायद वो फिर उसके बाद चली गई होंगी शायद, इसलिए.
गजाला गयूर साहिबा अभी 2-3 मिनट पहले तक थी और को होस्ट थी
जी.
और नसरुद्दीन साहब भी अभी थे 5 मिनट पहले तक और को होस्ट थे.
अब दोनों
we can move on then.
Yes.
Yes, so now this is question answer session.
अब मेरे ख्याल से पहले इब्राहिम साहब को इनवाइट कर लिया जाए, जिन्हें खास तौर पे हम लोगों ने भी कोशिश की थी कि
जी हाँ.
तो इब्राहिम साहब अगर हों तो वो सबसे पहले वो अपने सवालात रखें या अपने तजुर्बात के बुनियाद पे कुछ पूछना चाहें.
मोहम्मद इब्राहिम साहब, now you are co-host. You can unmute yourself and please express your views.
मोइन अख्तर अंसारी साहब को ले सकता हूँ?
बिल्कुल ले सकते हैं।
डॉक्टर हलीमा,
यस,
मोइन अख्तर अंसारी साहब को होस्ट बना करके जरा उनको भी।
yes, Moin Akhtar Ansari Sahab, now you are co-host. You can unmute and express your views. सबको ही अनम्यूट कर देती हूँ अब।
जी जी कर दीजिए ताकि अब
जी अब now everyone can unmute themselves and speak.
अच्छा, बीच में एक सवाल मेरे जहन में है।
प्लीज
हेलो,
प्लीज प्लीज गो अहेड।
एक सवाल मेरे जहन में है डॉक्टर, आपने इंजीनियर तारिक आजम साहब के लिए। उन्होंने बड़ा अच्छा इदारा बनाया माशाल्लाह, हमने 2 बार देखा भी है। और सारी उनकी कोशिशें अपनी हैं, अपनी फैमिली की हैं या पार्टली जो बच्चे दे रहे हैं। लेकिन कुछ गवर्नमेंट की स्कीमें हैं, क्या उन किसी स्कीम का वो फायदा उठा रहे हैं? जैसे कि स्कॉलरशिप स्कीम है, प्री मैट्रिक और पोस्ट मैट्रिक, तो वो अगर रजिस्टर्ड इदारे हैं उनको वो एप्लीकेबल है। और उन बच्चों को जो गरीब बच्चे हैं जिनकी एक प्रिस्क्राइब्ड इनकम लिमिट में आती है, तो उनको प्री मैट्रिक और पोस्ट मैट्रिक स्कॉलरशिप मिलता है। तो क्या आप इसका फायदा उठा रहे हैं अभी?
तारिक साहब, हाँ
जी जी, and we have last 2 years we started to try this, ये जो स्कॉलरशिप्स वगैरह हैं गवर्नमेंट की, लेकिन अभी खातिर खा रियली नतीजा नहीं निकला। तब उसके बाद से पैंडेमिक वगैरह भी शुरू हो गया। लेकिन we are seriously thinking to set up one person office, because this is really, this need to be pursued on a full-time basis.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, otherwise it will not give the results what you need. तो हम वेरी सीरियसली हम सोचें कि एक छोटा सा ऑफिस जो है स्कूल में, ये बच्चों की जो बच्चों के और माइनॉरिटी स्कॉलरशिप्स वगैरह का, इसको फुल टाइम परसू करने के लिए
वहाँ तो बेसिक शिक्षा अधिकारी होगा, उसके साथ रेगुलरली टच में रहना होगा, तभी पॉसिबल है।
अगर इजाजत हो तो वोट ऑफ थैंक्स के लिए बुला दिया जाए, क्योंकि मगरिब का टाइम हुआ जाता है।
अभी वो नजर आए, अभी मोइन अख्तर अंसारी साहब नजर आए, कुछ कहना चाह रहे हैं क्या? जी जी जी,
मोइन अख्तर साहब फरमाएं।
नहीं बोल पा रहे हैं। जी मोइन अख्तर साहब कुछ कहना चाह रहे हैं, फरमाइए।
जी अस्सलाम वालेकुम सर।
वालेकुम अस्सलाम।
सर बहुत उम्दा है और बहुत ही एजुकेटिव प्रोग्राम आपका रहा, इससे बहुत कुछ सीखने को मिला और ये इस टाइप के प्रोग्राम आगे भी होने चाहिए। अभी तो बस मेरे जहन में इतना ही है, बाकी ये सब एनालाइज करेंगे और काफी कुछ हमको सीखने को मिला।
मोइन साहब, आपकी नया इदारा बना रहे हैं, आपके कुछ तजुर्बात हैं उसके ताल्लुक से?
जी
JFT के भी आप फाउंडर रहे हैं, आपका बड़ा तजुर्बा है।
जी जी
हलीमा साहिबा पूछ लीजिए कोई और कोई